Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel. So let's continue our intro to SQL on Kaggle. Okay, in our first class we understood about SQL and BigQuery. Okay, how to handle big data sets, how to create client object, how to connect API and all these things we learned in our first class. Then we understood about select, the column names, from, the table name, where, the condition. Then we used group by to create groups, then used having to put any particular conditions, what is count, all these things we have learned. Then also we understood about order by, like ordering in increasing order or ordering in decreasing order. Okay, now we are going to understand about as and with. See, this is mainly for better readability. So with all that you have learned, SQL queries are getting pretty long and you are going to use this to tidy up your queries and make them easier to read. Okay, fine. Now this is the pets table we have seen before also. ID of the pet table, name, animal, and now it is including the ages of the animal as well. Okay. So you learned how to use as to rename generated by your queries. This is known as aliasing. In Python, we used import pandas as pd, import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. You remember all these things? Okay. So why did we create them? So that we can use them easily. We don't have to call pandas again and again. Instead, we can simply use pd.dataframe like that. Same here in SQL also you are using as to give it a nickname so that you can call that particular command or table by using that nickname. That will help you when you will write bigger queries. Okay. Now let's first understand this query. We know this. Select the name of the column count id from group by animal. How it works? Let me show you. So first it will select the animal column. This is the animal column. Count id. So id column will be counted from table name group by animal. So first it will create a group of the animal. So it will be animal and rabbit, dog, cat. Groups of 3 animals. Perfect. Now you are selecting animal and count id. So you have to select count of id. Whenever you are using group by, you have to use the aggregate function. So it will be 1, it will be 1, cat is 2. Okay. Count id is the aggregate function. Okay. So you are selecting animal count id from group by animal. Okay. So this will be your output. See, animal count id. Okay. Now here's an example of the same query but with as. Same thing here. You are not giving a name, so it will take any name. So here if you want, you can name it as whatever the name they have as number. So they have just rename it as number. Okay, so same query, select animal count id from group by, same query, but here we have written as number. So you can call this column as number. See the output, animal number. Okay, earlier it was like this. Okay. So this query is return the same info but the column returned with a number instead of default name. Now with as. On its own, as is a convenient way to clean up the data returned by your query. It's even more powerful when used with what is known as CTE. Okay, common table expression. CTE is a table that you return with your query. CTEs are helpful of splitting your queries into readable chunks. See. You might want your pets table to ask questions about older animals. So you can start by creating CTE which contains animals more than 5 years old. No, you want to take only those animals which are more than 5 years old. Okay. So how can you write this? You have to first write this query, select id comma name from table name where a condition. This is perfect. Now what you are doing? You are giving this query a particular table name. So this is your output. This is your temporary table and you are giving it a name, that is seniors. Okay. So the format is with name of the table. Just write the name as within bracket. This is the query and you are ending the bracket. Okay. So this is the format. This is a common table expression, CTE. So you are creating a temporary table. Now with this table you won't return anything, but we can finish this query by pulling the information from the table. This is the table you have. It will not return anything. This is a temporary table, but I want something from this table. I may select the name, so I can write select name from this table, or I can write select ID from this table. Okay. So first you have created the table, the same thing with table name as query inside the brackets. Then you are writing select id from this table name, id from seniors. This is the name of this temporary table. Or you can write select name from table. Okay, if you write id, it will return id. If you write name, it will return name. Okay, so right now when you are writing the second query, you are not using that big table anymore. You are using this table as your source table, as your parent table, and you are taking columns from this one. Okay, you are applying query on this particular table. Okay, now you could do this without a CTE. What if this were the first part of a very long query? Removing the CTE would make it much harder to follow. So also it's important to note that CTEs only exist inside the query where you create them, and you cannot exactly when you are creating, this is actually created, but later on it is deleted. This is a temporary table, so don't think that once you have created and you can use it in your later queries also. It's not like that. This is only for particularly one single query. Okay, now question is, how many Bitcoin transactions are made per month? So we are going to use CTE to find out how many Bitcoin transactions were made each day. How many transactions each day? Okay, and you have to use transactions table for that. So same way, import BigQuery, create client object, construct reference, create API request, and connect to the transactions table. Okay, so fetch the table. Now this is the table: size, virtual size, version, lock time, block hash. This is about Bitcoin transactions. Okay, fine. Since the block timestamp column contains the date of each transaction in date time format. See this column, date time, so it is in date time format. So you have to convert this into date format using the date command. Okay, so you have to convert it into date command. So now first you will create a common table, then you will write the main query from this particular temporary table. Okay, so how to create the temporary table? First, what they are doing, they are just taking dates from this block timestamp column. Okay, I just only need this one. So same, you have to write with, as inside this you have to give a name, within brackets you have to write the query. What do you want? You want date, so you have to use the date function from this timestamp. This is timestamp, you have to convert it into date format. So select date function, column name, as means you are giving a name, and from the table name. Okay, so what is happening here? Simply you are just creating a table. The name of the table is time, so the name of the table is time, temporary table. Okay, and you are creating date, so the column is date as trans date, so the column name is trans date. Now you are taking the dates like 2009 112, so it will be 2009 112, 2009 112, 2009 115. Okay, now what you are doing, now you are creating the next query. So now you have this table. So you are selecting something, as you are giving a name from the table name. See the table name here. The table name is time. Okay, so you are taking from this table. You are creating group by. Group by executes first, so you have to create groups of them. So you will write this once, group of this date. Second group of this date. Okay, so here they will create a single group. Clear? Now once you create group from the table name, that is done. Now you are selecting what? Count one as transactions and trans date. So trans date is selected, so you are selecting this one. You are grouping, so you have to select, and you are also selecting count of this one, count of count of one is traditional, that means you are counting. Okay, so this is here 2, this is here 1, so that way you are counting, and you are also renaming this. You are renaming this as transactions. Okay, so it will be transactions. Got it? So our final table is transactions and trans date. So final table is transactions comma trans date. Here you are creating the count 1 1 2 3 4, and here the groups. Okay, so finally this is your result. Now these are big queries to create a data frame and save them. See, transaction trans date 3 9 10 group of transaction date. So you are getting how many transactions is done, one transactions or two transactions. If it has, the transaction has happened on 12, same transaction 12, again transaction 15, so you can say that in 12 there are two transactions, in 15 there are one transaction, right? Same way, so it will give you how many transactions has been done per date. So how many Bitcoin transactions is done in particular day. Okay, now you can sort them order by. Order by means it will create an order. When you are giving nothing, it will be in ascending order, and if you want it to be in descending order, you know you have to write descending order. I hope the query is completely clear to you. Okay, now since they have returned sorted, we can easily plot the raw results to show us the number of Bitcoin transaction per date. So they have plotted this. You can see it is increasing, it is in uptrend. Okay, now do the exercise. So first let me run this. Now importing BigQuery, creating client object, creating reference, and creating API request to get the dataset. Here the dataset is about Chicago taxi trips. Okay, the project is same but the dataset is Chicago taxi trips. Okay, in this project there are many datasets, and in a particular dataset there can be multiple tables. You are curious how much slower traffic moves when the traffic volume is high. Okay, find the data. Before you can access the data, you need to find the table name with the data. Tab completion is helpful whenever you can't remember a command. Type client dot, then hit the tab key. Okay, no problem. Next one is write the table name to as a string below. First you have to, I think it's done. First you have to find the table name. Okay, tables equal to list client dot list underscore table and data set. Okay, let's see what are the tables in the data set. What is the table name? Table name you have to write for table in tables, for table in tables, print table dot table id. Let it run first. Taxi trips. Okay, so the name is taxi trips. Taxi trips. Okay, these things we learned before in our first class, how to print the list of the tables. Okay, so now peek at the data. Use the next code cell to peek at the top few rows of the data. Inspect the data and see if any issues are there. Okay, let's do copy it. We have got the data set, so now we can just copy this. Okay, so first table reference, create API request, preview the first 5 lines. Okay, so I just have to change the name, taxi trips. Okay, so taxi trips is fine. Taxi underscore trips. Unique key, taxi ID, trip start, trip end. Okay, this is about Chicago taxi trip. Okay, fine. Now determine when this data is from. If the data is sufficiently old, we might be careful assuming that data is still relevant. So write a query that counts the number of trips in each year. Your results should have two columns, year and number of trips. Okay, and they have given you some hints. What you have to do, you have to write the query. Let's read again. Write a query that counts the number of trips in each year. Okay, so in each year the number of trips. So trip start time, trip end time. So you have to fetch the year from this trip start or trip end timestamp. Okay, so we can write select and I have to extract extract function, and I will extract year from the column name. See, they have also told you trip select, they have already given you. Let's copy. So select this one. Okay, so from here we can get the year, which will be used for grouping, right? We have to create a group. You want to know the number of trips in each year, so you have to create a group based on year, and you have to calculate the total count of number of trips. Okay, so you have to use the year first. You have extracted it, and we will also use count function, count one. We will give a name later on. Okay, now we have to write from the table name. What is the table name here? From taxi trips. Okay, now group by year, right? So you have to name it as year. Whatever you are giving a name here, that will be used for grouping by. Okay, and you can order by if you want. They have told to order by. Okay, so order by year. Fine. And here also give a name as trips. Okay, now these things are same. Rides per query, this will be query job, that is this one. Okay, so it will be here. Okay, now API request, so copy this one. To paste, but here the job name is different. Rights per year query job, such a big name. Okay, so you have to be careful. Print rights per year result. Okay, so let it run. Error, name query with CTE is not defined. Right, this query name, so have to write rights per query. Now let's run. Still error. Okay, let's see the solution. Rights per year query, select extract year as number of trips from dataset group by. Okay, my mistake. So from this one. Okay, so you have to keep it in backticks. Okay, keep it in mind. So let's run this. It's done. Year wise trips, so you can see 2013, 2014. Okay, reducing. Anyway, dive slightly deeper. You would like to take a closer look at rights from 2016. Copy the query you used above, enter the cell in rights per month query. Okay, so we have calculated rights per year. That is not enough. Now they need rights per month. Okay, no problem. We will do. Now the question is, copy the query into the cell, modify, use where clause. Okay, so where the year is 2016, so you can just copy this one equal to 2016. Okay, now modify the query to extract month. Okay, month, give it a name month. Okay, so the month will be extracted, count one will count, name will be trips from the data set, no problem. Where you are extracting the year, group by, group by, you have to group by month. Okay, so what you are doing here, see, it's like same. First you are extracting the year, now you are extracting the month. and you are creating a group of month: January 2016, February, March. You are creating a group of month, and also you are and also you are checking whether year is from 2016. Okay, first this one is executed, so it will only take those values where year is 2016. Only those values will be taken. After it is taken, it will group by month, so it will group month wise. Perfect. Now now it will select the month and count one. So the group by column, you have to always select that column on which you are doing the group by, that will be selected, and it will be count. So there will be a count of January 5, let's say 6, 7, like this way. Okay, and you are giving it as a name trips. So you are writing trips, not count ID. Okay, so month trips, and for 2016. After that you are ordering. So then you can now I think this is fine, but you have to fill this up. Okay, let me copy. Writes per month query job. Same way, you just have to let me copy this and put it here. Okay, now this is month. It's per month. Okay, now writes per month result. So writes per month query job. So this is writes per month query job dot to data frame. Okay, now if you run this, okay, see per month, this is the trip. Okay, now write the query. It's time to step up the sophistication of your queries. So write a query that shows for each hour of the day in the dataset the corresponding number of trips and average speed for each hour of the day. Okay, so it should have three columns: hour of the day, which holds the result from the hour from trip start timestamp. So you have to extract the hour now. Okay, you have extracted year, month, now they are talking about hour, so you have to extract the hour. Next, number of trips. So the count of total number of trips in each hour of the day. How many trips were started between 6-7 am. Then you have to calculate average speed by using this particular speed in miles. Restrict your criteria, so you have to put this condition, and then you will use city. Okay, so use city. Oh, they have given. So with relevant rights, this is the name of the city, so you have to write the queries here. Select, you have to select hour of day, so you have to extract. Let me copy, I can't write so much, just let me copy the whole thing. I will edit. Okay, so select now here, extract, you have to extract hour, so you have to extract hour. Select hour from trip start timestamp as, change the name here, hour, and you have to trip miles, you want this, and sorry, trip miles, trip seconds. So is hour, and let me see the data set again. Trip seconds, trip miles, so you have to write them also. Okay, so as our trip seconds, comma, trip miles. Okay, so once you are done from the data set, fine, where now the condition you have to restrict 1st April 1st January 2016 to 1st April 2016. Okay, so you have to write where trip start time stamp greater than equal to, let me copy, 2016, and this less than, sorry, less than this. Okay, and one more condition. So you have to write all the conditions giving and, okay, so and trip miles and trip seconds. Perfect. Okay, now delete these things from where these things are already written. Okay, so we are done with select from where. Perfect. Okay, as our trip seconds, trip miles, these things are going to be used later, so that's why we have selected this. Now you have this temporary table, so from this temporary table you will be creating your exact output. Okay, now what do you want? You want hour of the day, so you have to select hour of the day. Perfect. Now number of trips, so you have to select number of trips. Number of trips, so you have to select number of trips, but that will come from counting. There is no direct column called number of trips, so it will be counted. Okay, what is the third column? Average MPH, so you should have this column also, and that will be generated by this way. Okay, so first let me paste this average MPH, but you have to copy this. Okay, so num trips, and this is as average MPH. Okay, from this temporary table, and you have to group by hour of day. Hour of day. Okay, so here you have to write hour of day. So here I have either you have to change it here, or you can change it here, hour of day. So group by hour of day. Fine, order by hour of day. Okay, so now you have to write this speed query job. I will copy. Set up the query. So client.query. Now the name is query, name of the query, speed query. So you have to change the name here, speed query. Say job config, your code here. Oh, it's done. Now your code goes here, speeds result, API request. Copy it from here. .2 frame. Don't copy like me. So if you copy, then there are chances of mistakes. You have to be very careful. If you write, there will be no mistake. Okay, because you are thinking while you are writing, but you are not thinking while you are copying. That's why I have faced this mistake. I think again there is a problem with relevant rights. Feeds result with relevant ID as select extract hour timestamp. Let's see the solution. Trip seconds, trip seconds. Select exact hour, extract hour from trips timestamp data. Okay, hour of day, trip seconds, trip miles from data set where trip start timestamp greater than exactly this one, and trip start time less than trip seconds greater than 0, and trip miles greater than 0. Okay, 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 just a minute. You have to be very careful. And these are the problems with copy paste. Trip seconds. Okay, now select hour of writes, count 1 as number of trips. You are calculating this. Okay, here also there is a mistake. This is all because of copying. Okay, once you write, there will be no problems. From group by, order by. Now it is fine. And is missing here. And okay, finally. So out of the day, number of trips, average MPH. Okay, okay, so done. Congratulations, that was a hard query. That is incorrect. Average MPH column. Okay, so here also. This is all because of copy paste. But I think you have understood. Okay, let me tell you this query once again. So first what we are doing, see, first we are selecting the hour. Okay, so first this is our common table, the temporary table. We are selecting hour of day, extracting hour. So you are extracting the hour 6 p.m. 7 p.m. which is hour of day. Perfect. Second column you are selecting trip seconds. Trip second. Third column you are selecting trip miles. Perfect. From where these conditions implied. After your table is ready. Okay, 6 p.m. trip seconds, trip miles. What is the name of this table? Temporary table. That is relevant rides. Relevant rides. Once this table is ready, you are creating a second table from this table. What are the things you are fetching? Hour of day, which you have already created here. So hour of day. Group by on hour of day. So you have to fetch this. Now you are creating the counts. So based on this, you are creating a count which is renamed as number of trips. Okay. So if you add all the hour, it's like, let's say here it is 6 p.m., 6 p.m., 6 p.m. So if you make a group of them, then what is happening? 6 p.m., a group of 6 p.m., sorry, 6 p.m. and you are counting 3. Okay, so you can understand that at 6 p.m. or 6 a.m. there are 3 total rides. Okay, now this is a calculation. Sum of trip miles by sum of something to calculate average miles per hour, trip miles by trip second. So you are calculating that. It is renamed, and the calculation from this, from dividing this, multiplying whatever it is, you are getting some results here. Okay, perfect. Now after that, you are doing the order by. So after you have got 3, 4, 2, so you are ordering 2, 3, 4 in this way. Okay, so that will be your final output. So that is why number of trips and average miles per hour. Okay, this is ordered. See, ordered by hour. So sorry, it will be ordered by hour on this way, not this way, not 2, 3, 4. The order of hour. Okay, that's it. So I hope this is clear. This was a hard query, so that's why it took time. Anyway, let's meet in our next session. Till then, bye. Happy learning.